Hey guys, it's Luca. I'm gonna run through some games of the Lotus Field, talk about some of the strategy behind playing the deck. So, sorry about that noise, but I think one of the things I've found playing a lot of Pioneer is like probably the most important decision you can make in whatever deck you're playing is like mulligans. Mulliganing is really like critical and probably more difficult in Pioneer than in other formats just because it feels like you need to curve out properly. You need to start enacting like if you're mono green, you need to go Llanowar Elves into Kiora into whatever. If you're red black, you need to go like Thoughtseize into 2 drop into 3 drop. If you are a control deck, you need to have like the turn 2 counterspell, turn 3 counterspell. If you are Greasefang, you need to have like turn 2 Grizzly Savage, turn 3 Greasefang. If any of those things, if you're like a turn off with any of those decks, you almost like automatically lose game one. It's almost like mulliganing to 5 doesn't really matter. You can even win mulliganing to 4 in this format. More importantly than like having enough resources is like being able to curve out properly. So that being said, you pretty much want to keep any hand that has like land Lotus Field with this deck because that's your curve. Like you're trying to get Lotus Field on turn 3 or turn 2 if you have Arboreal Grazer, even better. But if you don't have a way to get a Lotus Field in play with this deck, you're really going to struggle just because your whole deck's built around it. All the cards you have that untap lands don't work so well without a Lotus Field. And you also have like a lot of spells that have black mana that you can't cast without a Lotus Field. So you kind of have to mulligan any hand without Lotus Field or Sylvan Scrying. Maybe you can keep a hand with Impulse, but if you don't have Impulse, Lotus Field, or Sylvan Scrying, you definitely have to mulligan. So this hand, I probably keep it because the sounds are awful. Let me see if I can turn off the sounds. Let's see. Oh. In dual settings? No. Count settings? Oh, display and sound settings. There we go, let's turn the sound off. Okay, so I'm playing against probably red black. So, yep, you just play your Lotus Field. Not really anything to do with 3 mana, so no reason to use my Vizier. At this point, I'm really far ahead. Because I have Lotus Field in play, they have like not much pressure on me, and I have Hidden Strings and Vizier. So here you just want to, against a deck like red black, that they could Thoughtseize my pour over the pages, you just want to use the pour over the pages right away. So based on what I have in my hand, I think the best play is to cycle Vizier, play land, and then play pour over the pages. Okay, I think I made a mistake here too, because like a common play pattern is you want to pour over the pages when you just have these lands, untap the lands, and then Thespian stage your Lotus Field. But I Hidden Strings first. So the advantage of using the Hidden Strings here is like it gives me a chance to combo off, but then I have to waste one of my Hidden Strings. I don't know. This way I got to kill their token with Otawara. But maybe I want to use that Otawara on something else, like a Shieldred. So here I don't really have anything to do, but I'm just trying to dig into some good stuff. Once you get to this point against red black, they can't do anything about the top of your deck, and so you're very likely to win in this type of situation. should have won this game, but I remember I lost this game because I'm kind of misplayed. So I could both Seiju this Mutavault. I could both, but I probably would want to prefer to both Seiju like the reflection. Go Kiki Jiki. Or not, probably prefer to kill this Bank Buster. So here, like, I just go for the Behold the Multiverse, but I think it would have been better to foretell it and then cast it at the end of his turn. Because now I'm vulnerable to the Thoughtseize. So really the only reason to do that is just because of Thoughtseize. The advantage of going for the kill right now is if they have Shieldred. Because it's possible I might be able to kill this turn by going for it now. And by waiting, once they get Shieldred in play, I may not be able to win. And they have a Thoughtseize. Wah, wah, wah. So probably should have won this game if I cast the Behold the Multiverse on their end step instead of during my turn. Okay, let's go to game 2. Game history. So one of the things I've realized now that I didn't do here is that Arboreal Gracers is pretty bad. They have so much disruption that it does turn into kind of a game of attrition, because they have like Duress, Thoughtseize, Liliana the Void, or Liliana the Veil, and go blank sometimes. So using up a card to play a land more quickly with Arboreal Grazer is usually not worth it. So he Thoughtseize is my impulse, which is strange. I would have taken the Sylvan's Grind. So that's another reason to play this deck, is because it's harder to play against than most decks. People will make a lot of mistakes against you, especially if you're playing like weird tech. It'll throw them off, like the Pure into the Depths kill. So this is the beauty of the deck. We're just going to Lotus Field and Thespian Stage, and they have no way to interact with it outside of like Field of Ruin or something. Liliana the Veil is pretty good here. We're just going to discard the Emergent Ultimatum because we're just trying to survive to this pour over the page. So, I don't know. Okay. So I wanted to use my Vizier so that I could cast my pour over the pages, so if they have another discard spell, they can't grab it. Oh, now we'll just copy. Pour over the pages, usually you're going to discard a useless land, so it's kind of just like draw 3. In this kind of matchup, if you cast 1 or 2 pour over the pages, it's really hard for your opponent to win, even with something like Liliana in play. So we're super far ahead here. We just need to find anything to win. And we found the Emergent Ultimatum, so it's GG. So for those who don't know, like when you cast Emergent Ultimatum, you pretty much win the game on the spot. Usually you just gotta find Omniscience to force them, because usually Omniscience is GG, so they have to give you the other 2 cards. And then you can get pretty much whatever. You need to have some way to get your mana untapped, so you need to have either a pour over the pages, or a hidden strings, or a Lier that can flash back one of your untapped spells, one of your hidden strings, or Omniscience. So here I'll probably pick like Omniscience, Peer, pour over the pages, something like that. I picked Dark Petition, Peer, pour over the pages. Dark Petition gets me Lier, and that's GG for sure. I'm not gonna bore people with the combo. I'll just skip it when I'm comboing off. Okay, game 3. So this is an interesting mulligan decision. Let me see if I can reload this game again. So I'm on the draw. I think if I don't know what my opponent's playing, this is probably a key because I have turn 1 Balagad played as a land, turn 2 Sylvan Scrying for Lotus Field, right? That's like your game plan. But knowing I'm against red black and it's post board, it's extremely likely they have Thoughtseize or Duress turn 1. And if they Thoughtseize or Duress my Balagad recovery, I'm in a lot of trouble. If I don't draw a green source. Or even if they just Thoughtseize or Duress my Sylvan Scrying, his hand just doesn't really do much. So actually maybe that may be the correct play for them. So given that this hand is just so vulnerable to that, I'm gonna mulligan this and hope to get a hand that has a Lotus Field as opposed to Sylvan Scrying. Again, showing like how important mulligans are in this format. Knowing how to mulligan seems like the most important skill in Pioneer. Just something I have to work on a lot because I don't like mulliganing. I'm a value player at heart. So they actually didn't have a discard spell. And also, like, since playing this league, now I would not side in Arboreal Grazer in this matchup. I don't think it's good in this matchup. So here, interesting decision is like they're attacking. I don't want to block here because they started with Duress. So the block here is only really good if they have a 2-drop in their hand, because then I prevent them from playing the 2-drop. I'd much rather Arboreal Grazer next turn or the turn after, in which case, if they want to pump and kill my Arboreal Grazer, then they can't play a 3-drop or they can't play like Shield Druid on turn 4. So that's why I'm not going to block here. And he pumps anyway, so it's definitely good not to block. So he's played 2 Duresses so far. Now I want to block, yeah. Can't play Shield Druid, or in this case he's missing a land drop, so he is not able to pump. Here I think I can just get Leer and win. Or maybe I can get Emergent Ultimatum and win. Yeah, probably Emergent Ultimatum. And yeah, they just scoop on the spot because they know. They know when you cast Emergent Ultimatum, you just win the game. It's a messed up card. Okay, so we beat red-black. His draws were not crazy. He didn't have like discard spell into Liliana into Shield Druid. That's kind of like the way you usually lose in this matchup. Okay, so I lost this round to some kind of like black-green deck. So this is a questionable keep. I don't know if you should keep a hand like this. Because if this impulse doesn't find the Lotus Field, I'm in a lot of trouble. So we Fatal Pushes my Arboreal Grazer. Okay, we found Lotus Field. It's a good start. Play Shield Druid here. Yeah, Shield Druid is pretty tough with this deck. So I want to play this Arboreal Grazer because it's going to buy me time. It's going to save me 4 life. And life total is really important when they have Shield Druid in play. Okay. We're in a lot of trouble. This game's pretty much over. Yeah. In order to win from here, you need like Thespian Stage. Some way that your pour over the pages are like plus mana, not minus mana overall. Okay. So Shield Druid definitely a weakness to this deck. This hand again doesn't have a Lotus Field, but it does have a Thespian Stage, so if I find the Lotus Field I can copy it. And it also has a Arboreal Grazer, which now, having played more with the deck, I would not keep Arboreal Grazer in post board. I'd rather play a Hope Tender. Force them at least to like slow themselves down a little bit to kill your Hope Tender. Yeah, I don't. I think it was a bad keep. Okay, we got a Sylvan Scrying. Oh, he plays go blank against me. Maybe I shouldn't have played that land, so that I could play around go blank. But I don't think that's actually correct because it's so much better to have 5 mana in that turn. Yeah. So yeah, Duress, go blank, shield druid. It's a pretty rough curve, especially if I don't have a Lotus field. Definitely want to block here. Boil Razor's not going to do much else. And if I don't draw something good here, the game's probably over. Answerings, yeah, it's GG. Okay. On to the third round. I believe they're playing red-black. So mulligan to 5. But I do have Behold the Multiverse, so good chance of finding a Lotus Field with that. Oh, they're playing mono green. Mono green, I think it's favorable to mono green just because they can Karn for Damping Sphere. Okay, they have a lot of mana. Find the Lotus Field. If they have Karn, I'm completely screwed. Okay, that's good. It's not a Karn. And they milled a Karn. So now I'm really just trying to find a way to add more mana. So this Market Festival is kind of like a pseudo Thespian stage. Okay, they have Boseiju, which is pretty annoying. So again, I wanna have enough mana producing stuff so that my hidden strings make more mana and my Pore of the Pages make more mana. So I'm gonna copy my Lotus Field. And I'm dead to almost anything at this point. I'm in a very bad spot. But it looks like my opponent has nothing. Okay, so now we can hidden strings, and we probably want to Balrog Recovery the Dark Petition, get Lier, and go from there. Lier gives you 2 more hidden strings, which is a lot of mana. I believe that allows us to Dark Petition for Emergent Ultimatum. Boom. GG. And I also didn't side in Zakama here, so I have to kill him with Peer into the Abyss. Yeah, we don't have to go through this. But I'm basically gonna kill him with Peer into the Abyss. Casting it on him over and over and over. I guess I didn't mention it in this video, but my version of the deck, in game 1, I killed him with Peer into the Abyss by casting it on them over and over and over. Okay, let's go to round 4. So far, played against 2 Thoughtseize decks and a Damping Sphere deck. Okay, mulligan to 6. My opponent is on Greasefang. So this is just a race, really. Okay, so here I just want to just follow my game plan. Since I have the Boreal Grazer, I should be faster than them. And they didn't hit the big one. They only have a Sky Sovereign. Okay, so there's an interesting thing I can do here, which is I can, because I really want to use my Thespian Sage this turn, but I also maybe want to Boseiju something. So I can use Vizier to do both. In the case they have Parhelion. So since they don't have Parhelion, I don't really care, because as long as it doesn't kill me this turn, I'll be fine and just win next turn. So I don't even have to use that play. I can just keep the extra mana for next turn with the Vizier. So basically, they didn't kill me on turn 4, so I'm going to kill them on turn 4. So pour over the pages. Pour over the pages. When you get to the point where pour over the pages gives you plus mana and plus cards, usually you just win the game. Yeah, this is GG. I can Lier, and then I can start playing more pour over the pages. Maybe I'll just show one game of like how I win. So the goal here is to play Peer into the Abyss on my opponent 5 times. So the fastest way to do that when they're tapped out is to go look for Omniscience, play the Omniscience. So I can play the Omniscience. Once you have Omniscience, you basically have infinite mana. And so then you just need to find your Balagate recoveries and Peer into the Depths. So boom. Takes 9. Takes 5 more. Takes 2 more. Now he's at 2. Now he's at 1. Now he's dead. So that's how the deck wins game 1. Okay. This was a pretty cool game, I remember. I'm going to use this Fading Hope very well. This hand's insane. It's really nice. Arboreal Grazer and Lotus Field. I'm surprised he didn't take either the Arboreal Grazer or the Fading Hope, and he took Balagate Recovery. That's probably wrong. But again, that's the advantage of playing a weird deck. It's easier for your opponent to make mistakes. Okay, so here I'm going to use my Vizier because it's extremely likely he's going to play Greasefang next turn, and I want to have the Fading Hope for the Greasefang. So I cycle my Vizier, so my Lotus Field's untapped. Plays Grizzly Savage, puts Parhelion in his graveyard, and here comes, oh, Traverse. So he wasn't able to find the Greasefang on turn 3. So I don't think there's no reason to play the Fading Hope. Also, this is only a 2-1, I can just block it all day. So nothing to do here, just wait. But I'm in pretty great spot because of this Fading Hope. So he plays Greasefang, just bounce it. Don't let the trigger happen. I'll take that land, keep it on top. His Vessel. Okay, so now I can do something pretty cool, which is I can Hidden Strings and then play Lier and hold up Fading Hope. So Hidden Strings, play Lier. I almost went for the Pour over the Pages, but then I realized, oh, I can play Lier and I have this Fading Hope in my graveyard. And basically, Greasefang has a lot of trouble killing a 4 toughness creature, because if it had 3, they can maybe kill it with Sky Sovereign, but yeah, I don't think there's really any good way in their deck for them to kill this. So once you get into play, it's going to stick around. Greasefang, okay, bounce. I'll keep the land on top so I can play Pour over the Pages. So I'll flashback my Hidden Strings so that I could put it on Lier. pour over the pages again. Sylvan Scrying for Boseiju, just because I'm going to untap my lands anyways. With the Hidden String Cipher. And now I have another Fading Hope, so that I can cast twice because of Lier. So they find a swamp. Grease Fang. I'll bounce the Grease Fang. Scry that to the bottom. Plays Grease Fang again. Oh no, he plays Liliana. Okay, that doesn't do much. Just discard the Boseiju. So, one trick with this deck is once you get to your 6th land drop, if you don't have a Thespian stage, your Lotus Field is like an even better Thespian stage. Because you don't have to pay 2 mana to activate it. So that's why I kept this Lotus Field. It's actually really good now. So now I have 2 Lotus Fields in play. And to win is pretty easy from here. Cast my Emergent Ultimatum, probably just scoops on the spot. Omniscience, Peer into the Abyss, yeah, GG. And this time around I have Zakama. So post-board Zakama, there's a lot of decks that can't really deal with it. I mean, I guess he has Liliana. But otherwise, Zakama is just GG against that deck, against red-black, against a lot of decks. Okay, let's go to the last game of the league. I believe it's a red-black deck. It's going to be a pretty common matchup that you'll face when you're playing this deck. So I have 2 lands of Lotus Field, so keep. Also really nice Behold the Multiverse, but Thought seizes it away. Boo. Bank Buster. Play my Lotus Field. Basically not under a lot of pressure here. The thing I'm going to be most scared of is Shield Druid. Okay, so a common trick with this deck is if you have Lotus Field and you have Sylvan Scrying Vizier, on turn 4 you Vizier your Lotus Field, you Sylvan Scrying for a Thespian stage, and then you have 2 mana left over to copy it. Ooh, Shield Druid, quite scary. Now I basically and Thoughtseize. So you're going to see the power of this deck. My opponent played Thoughtseize, Shield Druid, but I'm still going to win. So start with Pour Over the Pages because basically I want to have 4 mana so that I can cast the Market Festival on an untapped land. Drew Hidden Strings, which is really, really good here. It's plus 6 mana because of the Market Festival. Cannot cast this Pour Over the Pages. So basically my game plan is I need to get rid of the Shield Druid before I cast any Pour Over the Pages. So I need to, what am I going to do here? I think I'm going to Behold the Beyond, and I'm going to get 2 Hidden Strings and a Balgate Recovery. Make a bunch of mana with the Hidden Strings, Balgate Recovery my Lier, then from there it's pretty academic. I can cast 3 more Hidden Strings, I can Sylvan Scrying for Otawara to bounce the Shield Druid, and then I can cast a bunch of Pour Over the Pages and find my ultimatum. Or I can just flash this back, actually, even better. So Hidden Strings, Balgate Recovery. So of note, you have 2 big casting cost black spells for 7 mana. This is the one you want against Shield Druid. The other one, you will die. But since this card just puts cards in your hand, it's like a tutor, Shield Druid doesn't do any damage to you. So yeah, Lier. Now we have a bunch of mana with Hidden Strings. So it's pretty sick that I beat double Thoughtseize Shield Druid. And in general, these sorts of decks are very good against Thoughtseize because your main game plan kind of evades discard because they're just lands. Okay, so they scooped. Looks like I lost game 2. Let's see what happened. Okay, so now I've learned my lesson. Now I have Hope Tenders instead of Arboreal Grazers against Red Black, which I think is better.